is it's pretty clear now that the left just wants to be an aggravating source working against the interest of the president-elect. Is that a fair construction, do you think?
The professional outrage machine that is the political left is in overdrive, and they have no self-reflection, self-awareness. They missed their opportunity 2 weeks ago to just push out this failed leadership of Nancy Pelosi and her ilk. That's cost them 6 House seats and 12 Senate seats and 12 governorships and 1,000 state legislative seats. Oh, and now the White House was someone they said could not lose. And they're just searching and reaching and grasping embarrassingly to keep this permanent campaign going and to change the election results. Lou, I went back today, did a little time machine from 1 and 2 months ago, and I saw all these statements from Hillary Clinton and her supporters about, will Donald Trump accept the election results? He keeps saying that it's going to be rigged and he'll keep us in suspense. She said on the debate stage on October 19th in Las Vegas that it was, quote, scary to have somebody who's running for president say he won't accept the election results. That's exactly what they're doing here, and it's not going to work. He won this election fairly and squarely, and he's forming his government, an amazing cabinet, in quick order, the way he does everything, on schedule, under budget, frankly, and a conservative cabinet at that. So they can pound the table all they want. All they look like is a bunch of whiners. First it's Jim Comey's fault, then it's the alt-right, then it's Bernie Sanders, now it's Russian hacking. It's Hillary Clinton. Vladimir Putin didn't tell her to stay out of Milwaukee and lose Wisconsin. The first time it's been won by a Republican since 1984.
Since 1984, the Democrats in the worst electoral shape they've been in since 1922,
yes,
thanks to your efforts and the efforts of the president-elect, Donald J. Trump. That must drive them absolutely nuts. But enough about them, because they're just a dwindling force that is, they're mocking themselves, it seems, these days. I want to turn to Rex Tillerson, an unusual and I think fascinating choice for Secretary of State. But we're already getting blowback, not from the Democrats so much as, the old faithful, Lindsey Graham, John McCain, a new senator, James Langford, joining in on that. How much trouble do you think they'll be, and what can you do about it?
Rex Tillerson is an inspired and amazing pick, and much like the boss he'll be working for, Donald Trump, President Trump, he's unconventional in terms of Secretary of State. Don't you want somebody who already has these relationships, who's already been in these countries, over 50 of these countries, Russia, China, Yemen, the Middle East, certainly the developing nations? Don't you want somebody, Lou, who already has been out there fighting for U.S. interests, and frankly, as Secretary of State, would have a great relationship, the faith and the confidence of the President of the United States, which is important. And Lou, can you think of anywhere that's more swamp-like than Foggy Bottom, where the State Department is? And long before Hillary Clinton got there and used the State Department as a concierge for foreign governments to come and bring their money for her foundation, it's been swamp-like. It's just rife with bureaucracy and murkiness and too many crocodiles in the water. So when I think of draining the swamp, I think of a guy. Now. That's right. There you go. Well, look, people are going to push back. They're trying to conflate many different things right now, as you see. But the fact is, this is a strong, inspired pick. This is somebody whose experience across the globe is vast, but it's also an asset. It is not a liability. Politicians think that the best currency is to be a politician. They think that classic D.C. government resume somehow qualifies you for these positions in the cabinet. We know what just happened. Americans rejected the 30-year D.C. resume of Hillary Clinton and gave the Oval to a man who has no political experience. That's what they wanted. And
Rex Tillerson matches all that you have just described, and he's a tremendous negotiator. And I kind of like the idea of the diplomatic corps that makes up the State Department having a diplomat, not in place, a man who has strong and positive relationships rather than those in conflict. We'll leave that to the Defense Department. I want to ask you about John Bolton, rumored to be the #2 for Tillerson. What can you tell us about that?
Well, you know, John Bolton is an incredibly experienced man on the world stage. He's held high positions in governments before for another president, and he's known as an expert on many of the issues that are roiling our nation and the globe. He had a very good meeting with the president-elect when he came to the Tower not so long ago. As you see, Lou, just the vast number and diverse backgrounds of the State Department potential nominees that have come through the doors here and interviewed with the president-elect and the vice president-elect has been breathtaking. And John Bolton could, in fact, get the #2 spot, or he could get something else in the State Department. That's up to the president-elect ultimately. But people say he's more hawkish. What will that mean? But he obviously is somebody who, and as a Fox News analyst, frankly, people are able to hear what he believes and see what he's done. Look, anybody who wants to try to embarrass us at the confirmation hearings, better have some substantive arguments with respect to these people. I would remind everybody 8 years ago that at this time, or basically a month or two from now, the first 7 cabinet nominees put forward by President Obama were confirmed. The Republicans confirmed them. That's what they did, and then they gave a voice vote to Hillary Clinton as a Secretary of State. So we hope just to get a different kind of fairness than we seem to be getting right now in a lot of the press quarters.
Yeah, well, the press quarters, it's pretty clear that that is going to be a permanent condition as far as the left-wing national media is concerned. A fraction of the, unfortunately, some of the longest-serving and those holding leadership positions in the Republican Party seem hell-bent on providing some conflict for the president-elect. We'll see how that works. I want to turn to one last issue here as we move forward. The news conference that was to be held on the 15th, the president has deferred until, I think at the earliest, January 3rd, about how he's going to remove himself from his company's business interests. Can you give us any indication about what's being considered?
Many different structures, Lou. There's so much to unpack here and to consider. I've spoken with the president-elect. I've spoken with his adult children about this issue, and I can assure you everyone just wants to comply with the proper protocols and the law here. He's got a collection of iconic buildings and vast holdings here in the United States and across the globe. This is unprecedented, of course. Usually, this is not an issue because our presidents tend to be politicians moving from political job to political job. So they're just certainly not brilliant, successful businessmen and job creators. But I just want to say something that maybe goes underappreciated in all of this, which is the amount of money and the deals that the Trump family is going to lose over Donald Trump being president of the United States. It's such an enormous sacrifice for them because he's going to be the president. Instead, he's going to focus 100% of the time on that. These things take time. They need to be done properly, and there are different structures being considered now to make that so. Well,
and complex it is. As a matter of fact, I cannot even begin to fathom the structure that would be the basis for a resolution. But I know much better, brighter minds than mine are on the case, and we'll wait and see. Kellyanne Conway, always great to have you with us. Thanks so much.
Same here, Lou. Thank you.
All the best.